Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode and I hope you will enjoy this one. While we were on a little intermission just now, you mentioned this movie, You've Got Mail, and you said you had this view about online dating. So what was that view?
Oh, yes, it was a rather romanticized view of online dating where, you can't meet somebody, you have that connection, the spark, the butterflies, those old novels that we used to read growing up.
Yeah.
I had that impression that's what it would be until I actually tried it. It was nothing like that. It was more of a scary movie instead of a romantic movie, right?
Really?
It has been.
So you went on dates with people that you met online, or it was just the conversations alone that scared you?
I've done it all. I've been out, yes, because a Black woman, I like to wear wigs. I remember there was one date when the guy found out that I was wearing a wig. I didn't get a call back because he found that was strange, right? I've met a guy.
Like, how did he find out? Like, did he ask you?
I told him because my hair was blowing all over the place in the wind, fabulous. So I casually mentioned that I'm wearing a wig, and it was like, oh, wait. I didn't prepare myself for this one. I'm like, okay.
Because he said that?
Where was he from?
I'm trying to remember. He's from Fiji.
Okay. No, Lassie, you really have been very experimental. Really stirring the pot.
That's the thing. I've entered, despite my initial misconception about what online dating would have been, I had an open mind to it. For me, I am confident with who I am as a person. So if somebody doesn't like something about me or my cultural traditions, it's all good. Because that's one thing I told my friend. She's thinking of doing online dating. I said, listen, it's not easy. There are still people who meet their partner, lifelong partner, through online. You just have to prepare yourself for it. Prepare to block and be blocked, right?
Well, that's so true. And I can add in there like my own personal experience. Like I know last year, Sheila had really burned a serious fire on people who do online dating. She said that I said we because I was queen of the online dating.
Can I correct that? I didn't say, no, wait. I did not say you are. I say personally as Sheila, I find on joining an app and whatever, I find it lazy for me because I feel like online people lie. People only show you what they want you to see, right? Despite when you meet someone outside, they're going to sneeze, they're going to eat some type of way, you're going to see them for who they are.
Not necessarily though, because they could very well portray themselves as, this nice person initially, and then they just switch, you know what I mean? And trust me, for me, like I had been doing online dating for months, right? As a matter of fact, I was doing online dating, Jody was doing online dating, Hadijah was doing online dating. And at one point we were just taking it for a big joke because we were meeting a lot of jokers. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, I actually took a screenshot of one profile that I saw. I read his thing and he said, feeling dating fatigue lately. So I'm looking for an ongoing casual relationship or FWB. I had to look up FWB, apparently is friends with benefits. The audacity. He says, I'm done with any ethnicity or age or body type. Kudos. I have my own apartment. I'm open-minded and friendly. I have good personal hygiene. I like mostly affectionate S. I prefer spooning and doggy positions, sometimes missionary. I'm not into BDSM. I like both giving and receiving certain things, and I enjoy another thing if my partner is into it. I don't think I can say that on on YouTube. So that's why I'm cutting that piece out. I have no kids. I've had a vasectomy, so I can't get anyone pregnant. Have no STDs or STIs. Full stop.
Let me understand. That's on his profile.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's how he described himself.
But you know what? Actually, I appreciate a guy like that because I know exactly what I'm getting into.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know what is it on Tinder? Is it swipe to the left or swipe to the right?
I don't know. I just make sure I press that X because I don't want to accidentally swipe in the wrong direction. And for him, I wanted to swipe X. So I will tell you this. I actually met Jeff on Tinder. I met Jeff on Tinder, yes. And the funny thing is, I did not know that Jeff is actually Jamaican. So he has dual citizenship because he moved here many years ago. And so I thought he was like a Canadian Black man. A very handsome, very, chocolatey, heavenly goodness. So let me tell you my profile. On my Tinder profile, I had Jamaica living in Canada. I'm definitely not into any hookups with a big red X. I'm here to get to know people and perhaps to meet the love of my life. I laugh just typing that part, but who knows? If you're super ambitious, fun, and respectful, let's chat. And then I guess he saw my profile and he says he was like, this girl is like too hot. Like, why did she click that she likes me? And so he was like, hey. On his profile, he had just a gentleman looking for his lady. That cool face. So I guess he was looking for me. But before I met Jeff, who is like, I don't know, I think he's like my person. He's definitely my person. He is the sweetest person, like bench and bottom. You know what I mean? And I really do feel like I have found the person who, will put the ring on these
great.
Boys.
Can't wait.
It did not. It took a while to get here. Like honestly, I went on Tinder one night and it was just I was talking to Jody and Hadija and I don't know who had sent something. I was laughing about stuff. I was like, what, I haven't been on Tinder in a while. Let me go on and see if there is anybody. And then I saw him. Was like, oh snap, he is just so beautiful. I was like, I like him. And not knowing that it would really have become this, right? One of the first guys that I met, he was, I think, Italian or from some other country. And he was so sexy, Caucasian. And I've never been one to say, I'm only gonna date a Black man. Me no response, you know what I mean? But he was like, very early on, like, obviously, like, we would be having sex like even before we get into relationships, so we know that we are sexually compatible. I was like, what that mean? And he was like, yeah, like I wouldn't talk to you like unless you're having sex and I feel like it's good. I was like, what?
If
it's good, like he want knows that I know how to do the do properly for him to say, yeah, you can be my girlfriend. So I was like, but isn't it deeper than sex though? Like
sex, is it only sex?
So that's
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if I'm such a sweet person, but my sex is lame, you're not going to talk to me. And he's like, oh no.
Wow.
I was like,
well, at least he was honest.
At least that. And I had to give him kudos for that. He seemed like a great guy, but it just never made sense. I was also in this phase. Huh?
You dodged a big bullet.
I think so too. I was also in this phase where I was into like African men, particularly men from Ghana. Like I was into them. Listen, and I was watching all my Nigerian movies. Yeah, and I was going through a Nigerian phase at one point. Just how I was watching all these Nigerian movies, I swore I was Nigerian. But I wasn't really right. I wasn't into Nigerian men, but I was into Ghanaians. And I met this guy and he was hot. He was like tall, dark, just African king. And we were communicating for a while and, he seemed like he was doing so well. Like he was working for the government. He was bilingual. And then one day he was so busy at work, he sent me, this is like months after we're communicating, you know, but kind of on and off communicating. He sent me the screen showing, you know, how many emails he has. So he's trying to, you know, catch up with work. And I saw another name there. You know, like how I would have, you know, Natalie underscore Ferguson, da da da. I'm seeing his name, I don't know that person. So I'm like, who is, I said, who is John? And he was trying to make up something. And then eventually he confessed that he had given me a wrong name, talking to me for however long. You know, you seem like you're so into me and all of that. And then, like, you give me a wrong name. And as I said, just out of the blue, I met Jeff and the rest is history. Let's see when he puts a ring
really
on.
nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Who put the ring?
For you, you've come a long way, Natalie. So I'm really, really happy, and that gives me hope. You know, even with Leticia story about how she met her guy, like those stories give me hope. But again, I'm not rushing, you know.
Yeah. Tiana, how did you end up with that guy? Like, was he like really sweet, progressive, like handsome? Like what drew you to that man?
Have you ever heard wolf in sheep clothing? That's exactly who he was, because we were working together, and you know, you spend majority of your time at work. Who knows you more than your coworker? Because that's where you spend 80% of your time. You know, I thought I knew him. At the time, he was going through a bad situation with his daughter's mother. And what struck me, but you know, when you're in love, you're blinded sometimes. Like, he said he was with this woman for like 20 years. They were engaged for 5 years, and that wedding never happened. And, you know, at some point I was thinking that, oh, you know, this guy doesn't seem like he was ready for a commitment. But when you're blinded by love, like, you know, you make things slide. That shouldn't happen. So yeah, he acted like the perfect gentleman. When I first went to his house, you know, he said he didn't have sex for 2 years. And I thought this man would have been very thirsty and jumping all over me. He acted like the perfect gentleman, like nothing. So that even made me fall in love with him even more, because I'm like, this has never happened to me. Like, you know, you go to a guy's house and they want to be all over you and all of that. He sent me flowers. I've never had that in my life, and he did that. He was the perfect gentleman. The only thing he wanted to do when I first came there was to taste and smell my feet, because he...
Sorry, I didn't see that coming.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that one.
Ooh.
Yes, he was into that kind of thing. He was more interested in my feet. He wanted them very sweaty, and always asking me for feet photos and all of that. And you know, when you're not accustomed to something, I mean, that was new to me, and it kind of felt good at the time. But then I realized, you know, like, he was more interested in my feet than anything else. And I'm like, I'm the whole package, like, not just my feet. And so later on, I found...
Oh my gosh.
Later on, I found out, you know, like, it seemed as if he was addicted to porn, and he was just a whole mess. I found out he was still sleeping with his daughter's mother, which he told me like they were broken up. And I saw the messages in his phone and the conversations. They were still sleeping together. And when I asked him about it, like, I saw the true person came out. He was very verbally abusive and aggressive, and you know, a true narcissist. Like, this was my experience. I've never experienced a narcissist before, but this guy,
dangerous.
Yeah, and like, he made me started questioning myself, and like, it was just a whole mess. So after him, like, that's when I stopped and like, you know, I can't be rushing into these bad relationships. They're not doing any good for my mental health. And I had to take a break, and I even ended up going to therapy. Like, I'm not afraid to say that, because our culture, in our culture, like, we look at our therapy as something negative when it's actually very positive. And
Girl, I
like,
love me some good therapy.
yeah, like, so I ended up going there, and that's I'm just working on myself. And he ghosted me after a while. But when a narcissist is ready to discard you, they have already started grooming someone else. So later on, I found out like he was dating another girl at work. And me, I can be very crazy. Sometimes I don't know how to take the high road, and because I know what he did to me and how it hurt me, how it affected me, like I was so mad.
Cross.
Yeah,
yes.
The girl one day, and like Miss Sarah Walker must say, don't think you're the only one, and it's only a matter of time before he does the same thing what he did to me. So then we ended up talking, and she told me like it seemed as if he's scripted, and this helped me to get over him, because even after all the things that he did, it's like trauma bonding and all of that, like I still felt like I was missing something. But after I spoke with the girl, and she told me like the same story, I realized he was feeding her with the same story. He didn't sleep with anyone for 2 years. He has never dated anyone at work, and all the scripted things that he told me, I realized it's a script, and I realized it wasn't me. He is the problem, and the same thing he did to me, it's only time. But of course, she's in love already. She won't see, but I know eventually the same thing will happen. But yeah, that was it. After that, I just said, I need to definitely take a break and just keep working on me.
Yeah. And I respect that, see, and the fact that you can, first of all, as you rightfully said, I think especially in our culture, I don't know how it is for you from Uganda, Sheila, but for Jamaicans, like people tend to think, if you're going to counseling, maybe something's wrong, you're probably insane or something. And for me, as a matter of fact, like I opted to go into counseling a couple of years ago because of the field I was in, first of all, and just feeling like, I just needed somebody to talk to. And in talking to my coach at the time, I realized that I had a pattern in terms of the type of men that I was attracted to. First of all, I realized that most of the men I was attracted to looked a lot like my father. And I was one of those girls who had daddy issues. And so I would constantly talk to the same type of man who would just be, disgusting in the end. They come off one way and then they're disgusting in the end. And, I think I've made so many steps since that time to avoid talking to those type of men. I try to look for men who are going to respect me, men who will value me. And as you said, Tian, like, it's just unfortunate that that other person, she's already in love and, you're not even able to help her to get out of that. But the good thing is that you have been able to heal from that. Right.
And already too, he was telling her like, I'm crazy. I'm the crazy one. Like all of your exes can't be crazy, you are the common denominator. So yeah, people just be aware whenever you're dating a guy and they start speaking badly about their ex. That's a huge red flag.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think you answered me, and I'm gonna allow Sheila to ask or comment. But that guy, where was he originally from? Like, what's his nationality or his background?
His background is Jamaican, but he is Canadian. He's Canadian. He was born in Canada, but his parents are Jamaican.
No, I was just gonna tell Tiana that my dad once told me something, and it has gone a long way. Girl, you're doing well for yourself, and this is what he told me. There's a lot to accomplish. There's a lot to accomplish in this life, other than marriage, other than having, the significant other. It's good that you have them because otherwise you need a partner. But if you don't, there's a lot. Life is, you have a lot to live for. Like you have a big life ahead of you. So you have a lot more to accomplish, that if you meet such losers, this is a time to weed them out.
Mhm.
Yeah, you weed them out and take out all those weeds before you can, find someone who's going to, hold you also.
Right. Thank you for
Yeah.
that, Sheila.
Yeah. I remember people used to say to me, Mr. Right is just around the corner. And I was like, so they Canada long? From there. Like, you know what I mean? And I was just giving up,
Like-
up to last year. I was just giving up because I'm like, this is not happening for me. Like, we don't have the advantage of like people who were born here, who their circle is wider because they have some friends from elementary school, some friends from high school, some friends from college here. Like most of our friends are back home.
Yeah.
So we have a disadvantage already, but then we still don't want to be settling either. So, I respect that you were able to deal with that. And we know it's at long time. That's why I was so scared till you say, stop the girl. I said, Lord have mercy. What you said to the girl, Tian? I was so open to dating men from other countries, from other races. I can say that dating someone who shares the same culture, as my own, being that we're both Jamaicans, it makes it so much easier, when we're cooking together. And by the way, I said I wanted a man who cooked well. Let me tell you, Jeff Axtell, I think Jeff Axtell timing. Okay? Jeff Axtell, bad enough.
It's my boyfriend that he tied me with his oxtail. That's why I'm laughing.
Right? Listen, the oxtail, so you can relate. I think part of the reason why our relationship has been so successful is because of that cultural commonality. Sheila, you seem to still love your African kings, right? Lati, you seem like you never care, but you ended up with a Jamaican. And then Tiana, maybe
I'm open.
you're open to, I don't know. I'm wondering if next year we're gonna hear about you and a Jamaican. Yeah. So
Yeah. And you guys talked about culture, where you find someone from Jamaica and you share a different, similar cultures, and it's beautiful. Yeah. But also look at it in this way. You already know your culture, right?
Mhm.
You're already embedded into your culture, right? It's also fun learning someone else's culture, learning their background, learning what they do, learning different things. Personally, like my mom is from Rwanda and my dad is from Uganda, and I'm a mixture of two countries. So my boyfriend is from Zambia, and then the dad is from Zimbabwe, right? So he's embedded of two countries as well. So I love to learn because I feel like life, we're continuously learning. Mm-hmm. And I like appreciating other people's cultures. That's why I think I have friends from everywhere, from every part of the world, because it's interesting. It's like every day I'm learning something new. Every day I go to bed and I laugh about something and I'm like, this happens, they do that? Yeah, and then also in another way, it's also a little bit similar. So the similarities are, I think, the ones that bring us together, and the things that are different are the ones we're learning from each other.
Interestingly, when I came to Canada, my friend and I usually say would never date a Jamaican. My friend would go further by saying she's looking for a blue-eyed man. I was like, ooh, but look at me now. Right? I was so willing to try something different because personally, I love a man that respects his woman. I love a man who is family oriented and who is loyal. And sadly, that's not a typical Jamaican man. So I was trying to avoid Jamaican men in terms of getting in a relationship at all costs. That's why initially I dated different ethnic groups, but then I found someone from my culture. Not that he's a perfect gem out there, but we have so much going on where the relationship is worth while, instead of the differences or the rough edges that he might have. So.
Yeah. So thanks, Lati. And I know that we've been on time. I just want everyone to share just any kind of advice, just based on your perspective being here as an immigrant, having tried the whole dating thing, what's your advice for a newcomer who, let's say, would have just recently landed in Canada, single and really ready to mingle, perhaps, feeling like, time is running out on them anyways, and there's a pandemic. How will they meet anybody? Like, what are their chances? Like, all those things. What kind of advice would you share with that person? And so I'll start off with Sheila. You're kind of just right below me, and then I'll move to Lati, who's to Sheila's left on my screen, and I'll come back to Tian and then come to myself to just close things off. So Sheila, what's your bit of advice?
Okay, so my advice will be, first and foremost, be very open-minded, very, very, very open-minded, and be hopeful.
Yeah.
What you give is what you get necessarily in most cases, but don't always expect to take. You also have to be part of yourself, and compromise is a big thing. Try to learn and understand why certain things happen before you either make a decision or be judgmental. Also work on yourself, because when you work on yourself and you're good as you, then you attract what's good for you. If you don't work on yourself, then I feel like you keep meeting certain characters that you shouldn't even be interacting with. They shouldn't even have a liberty to even say hi to you in a way, right? So work on yourself, be a better person for yourself, then you attract what's for you. And good luck.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Thanks, Sheila. Lati?
Wow, Sheila says it all. Well, some of the things that Sheila mentioned, I'll just reiterate where the sense that you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to compromise. Canada in the Caribbean really likes to refer to the Caribbean as a melting pot. Canada is very diverse. We have so many different nationalities here. It's not much of a melting pot, but that diversity is something that you have to be cognizant of. So maybe you come here with a mindset to meet someone from your own culture, but that person may not be the person that you will meet. So be hopeful, and most of all, be determined, because at one point I treated dating as a job. It was that serious, because for me, I am very career oriented, and if I want something, I'm going after it. And for me, I had no intentions of being single all my life in Canada. There will be time, especially as a new immigrant, it's so difficult. I remember my first year when I was there, I was single. It was cold, it was lonely. I lived with my parents at the time, but at the same time, I felt so lonely and semi-depressed. And it's not something that I used to share because of the cultural stigma that is attached with expressing the emotions of depression, right? But you have to be determined, knowing that you want to be in a relationship, but you can't set a timeline. Because sometimes when we set a timeline to get in a relationship, that's a time when we're setting ourselves up to be disappointed. So be open-minded that it may not come within the time that would like for it, but it will come. And as Sheila mentioned, if you're not dating, use the time to work on yourself. Because when you know what you're about, when you're accomplishing your goals, you're going to be a better person for your partner. So use your time to work on yourself if you're single, but at the same time, be determined, be open-minded, don't give up. It can get very lonely, especially if you live in colder places like Alberta. You can't hear me. But
Alberta.
things are coming.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Lati. Tian?
Okay, so for me, I would say never settle. Because if he wants to do it, he will. just as how Sheila's guy can take her all the way to Paris to ask her to be his girlfriend, if he wants to, he will. And I know people may not have as much money to pay for flights or all of that, but I mean, I'm not talking about material things. I'm talking about there are simple things too that can be done. So again, don't settle. If he wants to, he will. And accept a red flag when you see it. Don't change it to orange, yellow, or green. If it red, it red. And that's just it. And again, don't rush. I mean, when you get into a new country, it can be very lonely. And especially, lots of culture shock and all of that. But be patient. And as the other two ladies have said, work on you, build yourself, know what you want, so that when that comes along, you know that you're ready and he is ready. So that's it.
Yeah. Thanks, Tian. So I won't even try to repeat anything that anyone said. First of all, I'm really just promoting online dating. I am like the new ambassador for Tinder.
I hate Tinder.
Prove me wrong.
I couldn't keep it longer. I
did like Tinder, but I met Jeff on Tinder. So it's like,
prove me wrong.
Right? Like, honestly, it has really changed my whole view of Tinder. So being the new brand ambassador of Tinder, I can say that, online dating is a godsend, because especially in Ontario, where there's so many restrictions right now, we're not able to be going to most places that we would normally go and meet people anyways. So you have to look outside of just the conventional way of meeting people. And if you're going to be doing online dating, then you have to really be open-minded and patient, because trust me, I was so frustrated. I came off these things a bunch of times. I met a bunch of people who were awful, and I really felt hurt along the way, because sometimes just the whole talking to somebody, and I think Lati, you mentioned at one point, blocking and being blocked and that kind of thing, it really can, wear you down. So it's really just being, open. Look at it as fun, right? And if you meet the person, you meet the person. And if you don't, you don't. Like, I met Jeff just last year, and I didn't know I was going to be able to meet somebody. And I'm hoping that he's the one. I mean, we're not married yet, so I don't know, right? I'm just hoping that he's definitely the one. But I would tell somebody, come and just look at it as fun. As the person said, your Mr. Right is right around the corner. And I don't know if the corner is long or short for you, but one of the ways that you stand to meet Mr. Right is if he's coming around the corner of online dating. So definitely, I echo the sentiments of these beautiful ladies here tonight. And of course, before we go, you know the drill. If you like this video, please click that you like the video, share with a friend, subscribe to my channel, and ring the notification bell so that you won't miss a beat when I drop a new video right here on this channel. Bye, guys. Thank you, ladies.
Bye.